and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, we'll be talking about the PDP, battle for PDP, Wike, Makinde in big PDP showdown as party convention moves to Ibadan. In the course of the program, you take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, all the way from Abuja, Babajide Olade Otitoju. Good to see you, BK.
Good evening, Ibrahim. It's great to do this with you, as always. And I say good evening to our esteemed viewers.
All right. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. The PDP is once again at a political crossroads with its national convention now set for Ibadan. A fierce internal power struggle is also playing out between, the two major figures. What's your reading of these recent developments in the PDP, especially involving Wike and Sheyi Makinde?
I think that is the big contest for power now is between Wike and Seyi Makinde. Wike had been attacking Seyi Makinde for some time, and I believe that Makinde getting the party to move its convention to Ibadan is a big head start for the Oyo State governor. It could have been done somewhere else, but getting the party to agree to move the convention to Ibadan is a big, big advantage that Makinde has. Now, the battle will then shift to other issues will now be in contention. The party also agreed to zone the presidency to the south. What would then be in contention between both men is where in southern Nigeria the presidency gets zoned to. That is micro zoning. After zoning to the south, you still have to microzone to determine which of the states will get it. PDP governors have a history of backing one of their own, either for the presidency or for the vice presidency. In 2023, in 2019, when Atiku decided not to pick one of the Southeast governors, the governors refused to support Atiku, and they eventually gave Buhari some votes that he naturally wouldn't have received. Atiku knew at that time that if he had given them the option of choosing the vice presidential candidate of the party, they would have picked one of their own. They would not have picked Peter Obi, and he felt comfortable with Peter Obi, so he chose Peter Obi, but they denied him the support that he needed, just for the fact that he did not pick one of their own. Now the question is, how many PDP governors are we looking at now that can actually, when it is zoned to the south, that can pick the ticket? The way it is now, some of the PDP governors are first timers, which naturally would disqualify them from contesting. Bayelsa governor is a second-term governor, but is not really strong in the party. Osun governor is a first-time governor. Rivers is a first-time governor. Is out of it. You know, right now it looks like the Oyo State governor is most likely the person that the party could pick at the end of the day. But Wike will have a say in how things pan out. So let's even start from the convention that will happen uh, in November in Ibadan. The first contest between Wike and Makinde will be on zoning. Zoning of those positions. Both Wike and Makinde would want someone from their lineage or people from their lineage to occupy the key party positions. And all of that, zoning has a role to play in determining where those positions go to. So they will first have to contest fiercely over that. Let's start with the position of chairman of the party. If it gets zoned to the northeast, it means that Wike is most likely to push aggressively for Damagum, his friend, to continue to play the role of chairman of the party. Remember, Damagum's reign has been really combustible. Not many party members wanted him to continue in that role, you know. But Wike and co found a way to keep him in power and in office. If the zoning does not favor the Northeast and goes somewhere else, it means that Makinde will have an upper hand because Wike's person would have been effectively shot out of the picture. So that's why I'm saying that their first contest will be about the zoning of positions. The first contest between both men in the battle for PDP will be in terms of the zoning of party positions. So now, when we move from there, move away from zoning, the other showdown will be on who becomes the chairman of the party. Both of them would want to produce the chairman as well as key positions in the party. Now, Damagum, if things do not favor him, Damagum will go as early as December because they are expected to choose a new chairman at that time. But I know that before then, there will have been contest between them. So at the convention, the party will have another convention in May. That convention in May would also determine who becomes the chairman. I mean the what's it called? The candidates of the party for the next election. It will be clear from who becomes the national chairman. So if Makinde finds a way to produce the chairman of the party, if the chairman of the party comes from his lineage or the people that he supports, it means that that chairman will then work hard to ensure that Makinde becomes the standard bearer of the party, becomes the presidential candidate. of the party. So I believe that before we get to that, both men will struggle to gain control of the party, knowing that whoever gains control of the party would be able to dictate things as we move closer and closer to the 2027 election, including, of course, who becomes the presidential candidate. So the big battle is not just about the zoning of those positions, but who emerges as the party chairman. Even if it doesn't get zoned to the northeast, there will still be a big contest between both men as per who becomes the chairman, knowing that whoever becomes the chairman has tremendous influence on everyone, be able to dictate affairs. We all saw what happened for the 2023 election when whose person was the chairman and Wike was eventually shut out. Rules are bent even on the night of the presidential primaries. The rule was that nobody can speak to one.
Vicky, we're struggling with your audio. Um, I think we've lost your audio.
So, chairman
Oh,
the contest is between them to determine who becomes the next chairman of the party. So we'll keep our eyes, we'll keep our
fingers
eyes
crossed. Yeah,
on the
that's right. Well,
November convention of the party to see who matches. Now, the second part of the Makinde becomes the presidential candidate of the party after the May convention. Presidential, because the May convention will set the grounds for the which will be through a national convention. Now, if this the presidential primaries as the candidate of the party, it also has ramifications for the general election. Wike and Bala, the governor of Bauchi State, are known to be very close. If I mean, Makinde and Bala are known to be very close. In fact, they've been touted as a potential presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. What this means is that if Makinde emerges, what it means is that one of the states that President Tinubu won in 2023, which is Oyo State, is not guaranteed to pick that state because man will do whatever it takes at least to deliver his home state. The same thing will apply to Bala, the governor of Bauchi, becomes in this running mate. Both of them are very charming. They enjoy a very good relationship. Now, that means that both from the northeast would be this Atiku, the most likely presidential candidate of ADC, and Bala, most likely vice presidential candidate of PDP, which means that Atiku to be in danger of losing one of the states
yeah, because
one Bauchi.
right, because struggling to hear what you're saying. Your audio seems to have been disrupted, kind of.
I'm saying that if
Oh,
can you hear me now?
yeah, very, very, very clearly.
So I'm saying that whoever emerges as a presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate of the PDP will impact the presidential election. It will mean that one of the states that President Tinubu won from the Southwest in 2023, he could be in danger of losing one of those states because Makinde will want to do his utmost to deliver um, Oyo State at least to his party as the standard bearer of the party. The same thing goes for Atiku, who won Bauchi in 2023, but with Bala on the ballot. Bala would want to make sure that he wins his home state as the governor of the state. So, but what we're talking about is the battles that lay ahead before even the presidential
Yeah.
election. That is
Election.
the
Right.
battle for the control of the party. Who
That's right.
gets what? Who gets to produce occupants of key positions like the chairman of the party, the secretary, and all that. Both men have their eyes on, especially because Makinde wants to contest. So Makinde is not yielding ground. He's not taking things lightly at all. And Wike still has support of some governors like the governor of Adamawa State, governors of Zamfara State. Wike still has support of some of those governors. So it's going to be a real battle between Makinde and Governor Wike for the control of the PDP, beginning from the convention fixed for Ibadan in the middle of November. So, and as I said earlier, the issue of zoning, they are going to be a daggers drawn on the issue of zoning because zoning will set the tone for everything that will happen later on. You know, if the position is not zoned to a place where you have prepared someone, then all of your plans will be thrown out of the window. So they know that they have to
That's right.
control the matter of zoning. And then after the
Yeah.
matter of zoning, they have to control who gets to become.
Okay. So let me take some comments. Um, from Adamu Idri says, if Wike is still PDP, how is he legally serving APC? This might end up in court again. Tola Oladile says, let's be honest, Makinde is the future. Wike should pick a side or step aside. That's a pun there. Ngozi Eze says, this PDP fight isn't about ideology, it's about ego, and it may cost them 2027.
At the Washington Open and
And
reach her first
Danladi
semifinal
Musa
of
says,
2025.
Wike built this
The
party's
22-year-old beat
grounding.
her Greek opponent
Makinde
6-4-7-5.
is only relevant
Raducanu
because
will
of
face
G5.
either Anna
I think we're
Kalinskaya
having
or Fofi.
interference coming from one end. Okay, right. So right, it's gone. Now, BKO, if you look at Governor Makinde as one of the posters suggested, he's
Mm.
is seen as, or he has emerged as a rallying force for younger progressives within the PDP, especially in the Southwest, where the party has historically struggled for cohesion. So, with Makinde now playing host to the convention in Ibadan, his backers argue that this represents a power shift towards younger, more policy-driven leadership. Do you agree with them? Could this be the ideological reset the PDP needs heading to 2027?
No, I do not see it as an ideological reset. I see um, it as an opportunity to save the party from ruination. Makinde and his friend Bala Mohammed, their position is clear. They are doing their best to to save to stop the um, continued fracture of the PDP. Neither of them is interested in defecting to the APC. So they represent governors that people have no doubt that they want to remain in the party and keep the party strong. So for one of them to gain control of the party, it means that there is hope for the party. And all they can continue to do is to stop the rampant defection that is going on, stop that hemorrhage, and try to hold people together so that they can remain in the party. So it bodes well. It sends a good signal that the PDP can still sort itself out. For someone like Makinde to have convinced stakeholders to allow them to move the convention to Ibadan. Remember when Asiwaju um, got the convention of the APC moved to Lagos? That was what saved Buhari. That was what enabled Buhari to win the presidential ticket. If that had not happened, there's no way Buhari would have defeated people like Atiku, people like Kwankwaso in the battle of dollar mongers, because the other people had much deeper pocket than him. They had so much that they could give delegates, and Buhari simply didn't have the money. But with Tinubu ensuring that the convention took place at Teslim Balogun, they were able to take some steps that neutralized the
In a world
other
where news
candidates.
never sleeps, we're taking a
So
giant leap into the future.
this is what happened.
We at TVC Communications are proud to introduce a new era
I do not
in
know
news.
where this interference is coming from.
It is one of the promos that we did on AI that got played now. So it is clearly from you people's end.
No, I guess it's from the back end. So they have to take notes to that.
So it's a good sign. It's a good sign in my view that one of the people who is desperate to keep PDP strong and make it continue to earn relevance is trying to take control of the party, trying to brush Wike aside and take control of the party. I believe that taking the convention to Ibadan is a good sign. Atiku is clearly out of the way now. So the younger party men will be able to slug it out amongst themselves, and people who are truly committed to the continuity of PDP as the leader of the opposition, the top opposition party in our country. They are now trying to put their heads together to ensure that the party does not die untimely. So it's a good sign to move that convention to 15 and 16 of November, and they'll be hosted by Makinde in Ibadan. I believe that Makinde will have a big say in the big decisions that will come out of that convention, especially since he's hosting it. He understands the terrain much better, and he will be able to deploy foot soldiers to ensure that that the tendencies that he represents prevails over others. But we must not write Wike off. We know that he will also want to struggle to gain control of the party.
Yeah, talking about Wiki, well, let me take one or two comments first before I ask my final question. I guess where is the comment? Yes. Feyi Adebambo says, old PDP, same chaos. We need parties that care about Nigerians, not power games. Kunle Sadiq says, Ibadan Convention looks more like a coronation ceremony than a unifying event. And Ibrahim Hassan says, if PDP can't settle in-house disputes, how can they govern a country? Now we're having the ADC, we're having the SDP, who is also saying that I guess they said they're not even part of the coalition. We're having some other parties, we're coming together. We see Atiku, Peter Obi, Labour Party, etc. Dati. But that's one on one side. Some argue that Wike's influence, despite his defiant stance post 2023 elections and his current role in Tinubu's cabinet, it has kept the PDP machinery oiled in some regions. is it fair to say that the party still needs Wike to stay electorally viable, especially in the South-South, as it also wages some sort of war against the opposition, especially the PDP in this context?
No, it's a difficult question to answer. One thing is certain, with Wike being a minister and serving this administration, he cannot contest for the presidency. So that makes the battle a little easier for Makinde, because unlike the previous election when he actually wanted to be president, I don't think he harbors that ambition now. He doesn't harbor that desire now. So he has left the scene for them. Atiku is out of the way. So I agree with those who are saying this could be a chance for younger people to take hold of the party, to take control of the party, you know. But it all depends on what transpires in Ibadan in November. I know that both men will be struggling, to gain control. They'll be honing their strategies and tactics to take control of the party. Many people who are loyal to the PDP, this is what they want to see. They want someone who has nothing to do with the APC government to take control of the party. They are not saying we can leave our party, but because Wike because Wike is serving in the cabinet of President Tinubu, many of the PDP members do not trust him that much. They do not trust him. But Wike still retains the support of many National Assembly members and some governors, because when people abandoned the party, he remained, and he sponsored the elections of some of these people. So they remain indebted to him. And some of the people that sponsored their election are governors today. So there's no way they can brush him aside that, oh, we don't want to see Wike and all that. So he's just a person that they have to keep tolerating. People can't stand the fact that he's serving this administration. But it is on record that he told Damagum that he had been approached by the president, and the chairman of the party, Damagum at that time, gave him the go-ahead. He also said he contacted his governor, Fubara, and that Fubara also gave him his blessings to go and contest. So Wike has found a way to deflect blame for serving in President Tinubu's administration to party leaders and his governor. So they know that he's a man of value. So they are not prepared to say, okay, get away, we don't need you in our party. They remember his previous sacrifices. So to that extent, they still think that, okay, let us keep him. But there are many people who are truly tired of him, especially the fact that he continued to support Anyanwu and Damagum when people turned against them in the party. But they have the chance, Ibrahim, they have the chance in November to address all of those issues. Damagum could be removed in November, because the party says it's zoning to the south. That means someone from the north, if it's zoning the presidency to the south, then someone from the north needs to become the chairman of the party. But we don't know where in the north they are going to zone it to. Will it go to the northwest? Will it go to the north central? We don't know yet. And even folks in the north central also want to produce the chairman, because as far as they are concerned, the last chairman of the party from the north central didn't finish his tenure. So they are still agitating, perhaps in line with the decisions earlier taken by the ADC, by the APC. PDP could be looking in the direction of a chairman also from the north central,
Yeah.
So, but all of that will pan out in November when they have their convention. But it's a good thing that they have at least fixed a date for their convention. It was difficult even to call a NEC meeting, but now they have called a convention. It shows that things are improving within the party in terms of sorting out their issues.
Yeah, very quickly, because we have about 3 minutes to go. If you can do that in 1.5. Per wiki, legal experts have begun debating whether PDP should enforce stricter disciplinary actions for dual allegiance, especially with wiki. Is it time for the party to actually amend its rules or even go to court to clarify the legality of holding party membership while serving under an opposition government?
No, it's not the first time that we are seeing this. It also happens even in bigger democracies. A president can headhunt a talent from another party because it's national service. So even morally speaking, you cannot push that case that somebody cannot serve his country in the capacity. So we've seen even democratic presidents headhunt people from the opposition, people from Republican Party to come and serve their country. He's not saying come and work for my party, come and serve the country. So it's difficult to push that. What the party would not like to see is for him to take steps that are clearly going to undermine the strength of the party. Once he does that, then they would rather be happy to have him leave the party and go and work fully for the APC. But as per serving in his own serving in the government, it's not the first time. I saw even Alliance for Democracy back then in 1999. President Obasanjo had hunted their chairman and brought him into his administration. And that was not the only time that President Obasanjo had hunted somebody from the opposition. So it's not a new thing.
That's right.
As we develop as a democracy, Nigerians will see this eventually as something normal. Because if somebody is extremely good, and Wike has demonstrated that is of big value to this administration in terms of his achievements and infrastructure. He may not have done so well in human capital development, but in terms of infrastructure, it's done well. So the president's, it will seem that the president is justified in bringing him into his administration to add value. So they cannot say he cannot serve, especially after they gave him the go-ahead. None of them has come out to say Wike lied, because he asked for their permission before going to serve in the administration. And he claims that the chairman gave him the go-ahead. He claims that even his governor, Fubara, gave him the go-ahead. So on what basis are they going to go to court?
Go to court. All right. That makes a whole lot of sense. Well, BKO, you're in Abuja, and then hopefully you'll be back to Lagos anytime soon. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Odutoju, for those insightful analyses as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I wish you safe journey back to Nigeria once you are through with the exertions that took you to the UK.
All right, thank you very kindly, BKO. It's good to talk to you. And thanks to you, to our audience, for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.